This is the exact copywriting structure I use to generate my clients over 100 new qualified appointments on their calendar every single week. That last month alone generated this one client $197,000 in cash collected. Not revenue, cash collected, liquid cash in their bank. Now, this copywriting structure is known as PATS. All right, and this is primarily for anyone who's trying to attract cold traffic through either ads and then pushing them to the VSL, their landing page, putting your marketing message in front of people, getting their attention and getting them to listen to what you're telling them you can help them with. And so now it brings us to this nice image that I generated through ChatGPT. Shout out to my boy Chat. So we have a customer who's in pain, and it's very obvious for to see this is the pain they're experiencing. They have a sea full of sharks in their way of getting to their desire, which is treasure, right? So if you look at this from your business's perspective, everyone has an ideal customer. That ideal customer has certain pain that they do not know how to navigate, they don't know how to get across in order to get to the desire they want, which could be getting more clients, it could be losing weight, it could be looking prettier, it could be, I don't know, just think of your business. I'm sure if you're watching this, you have a business, you can imagine this, right? The copywriting method here to clearly demonstrate this ideal customer of someone who knows what they want, they even see what they want, but they don't know how to navigate a sea full of feral sharks in their way, and so they're just discouraged and they just don't know how to move forward anymore from this point. So if we scroll down, we're gonna start with P, with PATS, which is call out the problem and customer. And my favorite way to do this is not by leading by, hey, are you looking for treasure? No. Best results I've seen is actually by starting out with calling out one of their external pains. So in this example, we have sharks in the way of getting you to your treasure. That is a very specific pain point call out. And the more specific you can get with a pain point call out, the more you're going to attract that specific person you help most. That's why in marketing messages, you hear everyone always say is like, you need to hone in on your customer avatar, because being broad does not attract as many people as you think. Being specific with who you help most allows you to curate a marketing message that speaks so vibrantly to that specific demographic. You attract those people like wildfire because they know you're talking to them. And through this structure, you're gonna see how we just continue to double down on them knowing we're talking to them, and we're the best ones to help them solve the problem they're looking to get solved. Hey, I just want to take a quick pause from the video because this was my first time doing this kind of like screen share deal here where I'm like drawing and writing at the same time. And I don't know what happened with the screen share, but it kind of like glitched. And so there's a few parts where it's very obvious that like it's not really matching up. So I'm sorry. I promise this is not going to be how the videos come out from here on out. It is going to be fixed. I've already reached the search the solution, but this was a 40-minute long video and I'm not going to redo it because I do also have a business to run, not just educate. So anyway, I'm sorry, just continue watching and bear with me from here. I appreciate y'all, thank you. So, call out problem, customer. Sharks in the way of getting you to your treasure. This is what I like to call an external pain, by the way. And if we scroll down here, now we have a clear internal pain, because everyone has an external pain of like a very obvious thing. Like some people say, I want to lose weight, right? So obviously you want to lose weight, but we're trying to dissect why they want to lose weight. So in a weight loss example, you would say you're uncomfortable with taking your shirt off at the pool or the beach. You don't feel like your wife is attracted to you anymore because you're, doing things less. Let's just put it that way. I'm trying to stay monetized here. You feel out of breath and you can no longer play outside with your kids for longer than 30 minutes to an hour before needing to take a break and then a nap. You see where we go? Like we're really honing on specific pain point problems. And that's going to differentiate depending on your ideal customer, obviously. So for the Sea of Sharks example, we have, look, you've probably traveled hundreds of miles, because he's, who looks for treasure and just walks outside? No. People who look for treasure are traveling hundreds of miles, flying across the world. They're travelers, they're explorers, right? So you've traveled hundreds of miles, internal pain, right? Well, this is more validating their internal pain here. You've lost close relationships, been called crazy with unrealistic goals, chasing some imaginary treasure, and now with the goal in sight, you are left defeated. So we are voicing their internal fears, their internal beliefs, their internal pain. Not only saying, hey, we know what problem you have, but we also know why it's important for you to figure this problem out and for you to get the desired solution you're looking for. So now that we've agitated, right, I didn't even say that, we're going to agitate and relate to the customer's internal pains. We're going to let them know, hey bro, hey girl, hey boss, whatever. We understand you. Not only the pain you're trying to solve, but also the internal struggles that come with not solving that pain. And then we're going to tease a nice little solution here. Now you can actually draw this tease thing out and add a bunch more into it. And so I'm just gonna say here, but if you are anything like the hundreds of other people we've helped cross a sea of sharks to get their treasure who weren't ready to admit defeat yet, this is what we're going to do for you. Now we're kind of doing something a little nice here, and this is where you have a little bit more flexibility within the tease section. Because we're teasing, we have a solution here, and we're also adding in a bit of social proof by saying, if you're anything like the hundreds of other people we've helped cross a sea of sharks to get to their treasure who weren't ready to admit defeat yet, this is what we're going to do for you. Now, like I said, you can expand this tease section more, and you can like really hone in on saying something like, but if you're anything like the hundreds of other people we've helped cross a sea of sharks to get their treasure who weren't ready to admit defeat yet. If this was a VSL, I probably would drag this out a little bit more. Who weren't ready to admit defeat yet. Who weren't ready to return home empty-handed after traveling hundreds of miles and facing those who doubted you to begin with. Like, I would actually re-agitate their pain point and just kind of like keep going into that, like just to really level it in. Now there is a point of like you're doing it too much, but essentially if you do this well enough, guys, if you do it well enough, you should be able to like really believe in your own message. And when you say it, and I always do this all the time, it's almost like I'm practicing or rehearsing like an actor's script. It's like when I say it out loud, I try to say it with the passion of like if I'm talking to someone and how it should be talked, not read. A lot of people make that mistake and they'll be like, oh, your script is not good grammar. I don't even think that was good grammar, but anyway. And I tell them like, yeah, because when I speak it, the tone makes it sound good, even though if you read it and submitted this as a peer review, it's probably not gonna do very well. So it's like you have to understand the difference between the tone of when you say something and when you read something. And so it's important when you're making your marketing message that you're reading it out loud and really putting that tone behind it. It's great practice too. So you would extend this tease phase out a little bit. You might even say, ready to admit defeat yet? This is what we're going to do for you. But first, and then you would introduce yourself. My name's Cade, and I help people cross a sea of sharks for the last 10 years, helping them go from never seeing a shark to now swimming with sharks, riding sharks, doing cartwheels on sharks, like you name, like you would just go down that route and just like tease the solution more and get them to watch. Now, if I were gonna do this in ads, and I'm gonna skip back up here real quick because I think this is really important. The goal of the ads is to get them to click to the landing page or take the next action. And I'm specifically talking more like Facebook ads here. You wanna say enough in the ads, but leave them curious as to what's next. You want the click. Like your goal when running ads is to get the click to the VSL and landing page, because that should be on the same page if this is the type of funnel you're running. And the goal of the landing page and the VSL is to get them to take the next action, which is whatever your CTA is, which we're gonna cover here in a second. You should just be trying to get them to take the next action, like in each stage, and leave them curious along the way. Curiosity drives action. Imagine the last time you were curious about something. If I leave a lingering question around and say something like, do you know what animal has the hottest internal temperature? Because humans, we run at, I think, like 98 or 97. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but around that. But do all animals run around the same, or do some animals run hotter? And it makes you maybe ask this question, I wonder what the animal has the hottest internal temperature naturally. I'm not gonna answer that. And if you're curious, you'll probably end up Googling it. And if you just don't give a shit and you just want to get back to this message, well, then guess what? We're going to do that too. But I'm not going to answer that. But this is a real thing. I was at dinner the other day and I thought of this, and I was so curious enough. I pulled out my phone, I Googled it, and I figured it out. So now it's your turn. So now that we're done with T's, and we're just going to say, this is what we're going to do for you. Because now, if you look here, we have now called them out. They know we're talking to them. We validated their internal pain, letting them know, hey, not only do I know the external pain you're feeling, I know the internal pain you're feeling because you don't know how to overcome this external pain to get to your desire. Now, we've also hinted we've helped hundreds of other people do this exact same thing, and we're motivating you, their treasure, who weren't ready to admit defeat yet. That's them. That's their next thought. It's like they don't want to admit defeat. So you can see how we're almost like playing psychological games. And believe it or not, I'm a big like proponent and voice of saying, and my opinion might change later on, of marketing is all about ethically manipulating people to do the thing that is ultimately best for them. And yes, that is spending money on high ticket programs. That is, doing this thing, doing that thing, doing this. Like, it's all about ethically manipulating people to do the next action you want them to make. And ultimately that drives businesses. If you don't know how to do that, you can say, oh, it's marketing. No. You're ethically manipulating people if you're good at it. The more you study marketing, the more you study psychology. And when you dive into buyer psychology, it's stuff like this that actually comes up more and more. Reading the books like 48 Laws of Power, Human Nature, and then one of my personal favorites, which is The Puppet Master's Bible. It really points out a lot of the strings that are being pulled on you at any given time that you're not even aware of. And it really shows how much of not in control you truly are about why you take the actions you take, why you dress the way you dress. Like, you think you're original, I promise you, you're not. But if you're not aware of it, then you're even at more of a disadvantage from someone who I would say is aware of it, and not only aware of it, but knows how to attach strings to their own hand. So we're gonna get down into the solution because I keep rambling. All right, so you have a few different solutions here, and this is something I hopefully don't take too long to explain. So you have done for you solutions, which come at a higher ticket because we're doing it for you. We're saying, we're going to guarantee you get your treasure hand delivered to you in the next 24 hours or you don't pay. You can add a time frame in there or not, depending on what your service, your business is. If it's something like literally crossing a sea of sharks to get to your treasure, and we're saying we're the experts and everything we've said before this makes you believe that we actually are experts and we've done it before and we know how to navigate it better than anyone else. Someone who values their time over money and has money to spend is more than willing to pay a premium for someone to just do it for them if it means they get the same result. Now, you can charge more, and I'm not gonna go into pricing structures, but the one we often use is more of just like, hey, you're gonna pay us like a little bit up front, and then we're gonna take a percentage of the results we bring you. It's kind of like rev share models. I'm not gonna dive too much into that, but for this, you'd probably just charge like one upfront fee. I don't know, with treasure, you could probably be like, and we're gonna take 10% of the treasure, something like that, I don't know. So, and then you have done with you services, which come at a lower price point for those people who want the same result, but don't have the money to spend on you to do it for them. So essentially what you're seeing right here, and for those of you who are educated and understand this, you're looking at upsell and downsell funnels, essentially. And we'll get down to how this is different down here in a second. But done with you services is more like online courses, coaching programs, consultancies. It could be group calls, anything that's more of like a training or something like that, where we're kind of like teaching you how to do it. And this could be in-person training too. It doesn't have to just all be online. Like, I would say, if you're in that fitness example again, I would say a done with you is like, we're going to help you lose weight. I can't make you lose weight. I I can't work out to make you lose weight. There's not like a done for you service in there. It's like a done with you constantly. So there's a few different ways to package your done with you. You can probably think of it in your own business. And if not, I highly suggest you go into your business and ask ChatGPT, my business is this is the customer we help best, outline, done for you service, done with you service, and a do it yourself service. And now you have your lead magnets and you have your first upsell at a higher ticket, and then you have your done for you at the highest ticket. So just a little tidbit there. Now we're going to jump back into the shark example. So we're gonna say, this is what we're gonna do for you. We're going to guarantee you get the treasure hand delivered to you in the next 24 hours or you don't pay. We're going to teach you the exact method we use that allows us to swim with feral sharks 365 days a year, from what gear you need to how you enter and exit the water and how to redirect a shark if it comes at you. I mean, you could, this is for sake of example, I just wrote some random shit in here, and we're going to do this in our, and then you would insert your mechanism in our, XYZ program, in our XYZ course, or I don't know, you can hint at something, leave them a little curious about what it is. Like you can just jump down to the CTA at this point. You can not tell them exactly what it is to leave them curious and get them to take the action. And then on the, to get the lead at least at the end of the day. And then, once you have the booking, that booking redirects them to a thank you page, VSL. And then it gives them a little bit more info on what their next steps are, a little bit more info about the course and the program. But now you have the ability to sell them because you've captured the lead, which would be their name, phone number, and email. Right. So that's how you would do this. And then you have your free or low ticket, which is we're going to give you the complete guide to swimming with feral sharks for completely free, or I say anything low ticket is like under $97. I would even say like 47 is like a pretty good price point, depending on what this free resource is. Then yeah, you can charge for it. You can even go as low as $7. Like the point of it is not really to like make money. The point of it is to, one, get your cost to acquire a customer like as low as possible. So if on average it costs you around like $50 to acquire a customer, you should try and get that cost to a customer like the lowest. So if you're running ads, right, and it costs you $50 to acquire a customer, and then you are having people pay, and you're having people pay $50 to be a customer, right? They purchased your low ticket thing. Now you're acquiring customers for free. I'm gonna make a future video about this, which is just going into client financed acquisition, where it's exactly that. It costs you $50 to acquire the customer, $50 a day on ads, and you acquire one customer a day, but that one customer buys a $50 thing. And that is where your cost to acquire that customer is actually zero. So that's the benefit of using low ticket offers like that. Anyway, we're getting out of point. Hopefully that made sense. If not, we're definitely cutting it. So the free DIY, you can actually just do this as a lead magnet. You can build a complete guide to swimming with feral sharks and just advertise that through ads. And you can still use the same structure, obviously just gear it towards a free thing and not like a whole program, like some of this is kind of like gave the tone for. People are gonna opt into that free thing, and now you're gonna say, this person has raised their hand, they're only getting this guide because they're curious of how to swim with feral sharks. That's the only reason. It's very clear. You need to be direct in your copy. And you'd be like, this guide is for people who are looking for treasure, but don't know how to swim with feral sharks in order to get their treasure. Now, that's a very specific Facebook ad, and you're going to absolutely print if there was a big enough market for people with that issue, for sure. But you can just do it in your own business and still print at the end of the day. But you're going to acquire a lot of those leads, and now you're gonna get on the phone with them. You're gonna try to, have a setter to reach out to them, a cold call or whatever it is, and set the appointment of like, hey, we'd love to talk to you about what you're dealing with and understand a little bit more of your situation. Would you be opposed to hopping on a 15-minute phone call so we can maybe give you some advice on how to do this? Because they already believe you're the one who can solve this problem. So for you to call them now and say, hey, we'd love to give you some additional free advice, additional free tips. And obviously you're gonna provide value on that call, but then ultimately try to like sell them into the program of how to swim with feral sharks. You understand what I'm saying here? Like feral sharks is kind of like a childish example, but I do believe it paints the point decently well. Now, after we've said all of this, now I'm gonna say something and I don't wanna get too confusing, But if you just know how to tease really well here, then you can actually skip the solution part and go straight to the call to action if you're just trying to maximize the amount of leads you're bringing in. Because you're teasing this solution, you're getting them curious how you do it, what your unique mechanism is, and then you're saying, click this ad and go to the next page to learn what that is. And then the landing page of VSL, whatever you have set up, or the landing page in VSL is now saying you need to book a call and we're going to show you what this is. You see how it is? You see how you can like kind of plug and play the tease example? And that's why this T is lowercase, because I want to like highlight how it's special and how you can negate the exact solution that you offer. To an extent, you don't want to just like lead people on and like give them fluff, because it is better to be direct with what you offer and what you're going to do for people, because you want to attract the highest quality leads. And some people are like, yeah, if I do that, I'm not going to get as many leads. It's like, well, would you rather have high quality leads but less of them, or shit leads and you're just wasting your time every day and people aren't showing up to appointment? That's kind of the thing. And once you get good at doing this, you'll kind of understand how you can somewhat remove the solution part and just go to the CTA, which I kind of have a format for that as well. Now that we say we're going to guarantee you get your treasure hand delivered to you in the next 24 hours. So that's what we just said. Now we're going to say, and to get it, or we're going to say, and to get access, or we're going to say, and to see if you qualify for this offer for us to help you, right? Letting them know, hey, if you're interested in basically everything we just said, you believe we can help you, and you want to see if you qualify to work with us, click this ad, fill in your information, and just literally as simple as possible, explain to them the exact thing they need to do in order to take action on solving this problem. Because you need to be specific. You need to be specific. If you are not specific and you just say, then click this ad, or you don't even say click this ad, you'd be surprised how many people just actually don't have a very direct call to action. Like just hearing click this ad probes people to think, oh, I should click this ad because I'm interested in this thing. Like you'll be surprised how much that one difference can increase your CTR rate, like by a lot. But you're also wanting to make sure you set the right expectation for what's gonna happen on the next page. You're gonna click this ad, watch a video, fill in your information, fill in a small questionnaire to let us know a little bit more about you, and book your call. Like if that's the step, which I have clients who have a very similar funnel to that, that's what you're gonna tell them. And for this, I would actually leave some of this into just the ad, and then I'd be even more specific in the VSL. Because again, like I said, we want to leave them curious and give them just enough information to know what to do next, and then we'll give them the next step after that. So in the ad, I would just say, and to see if you qualify, click this ad, and we'll show you exactly how we're going to help you on the next page. Like that's it. Because now they're going to go to the next page, they're going to see the VSL, and that headline is going to read, how we guarantee you swim with feral sharks in under 3 weeks or you don't pay. Something like that, like something that makes them, again, curious to learn. Like they're still in that curious mindset of, how do these people promise I can swim with feral sharks? How do these people promise I can lose weight? You understand the difference here. Just think of your business. And then they click onto that page, they watch the video, and then the video says, you're going to click on the, have a sexier name than just like free consult, because that's just, it's not sexy. Like a lot of our call to actions will be something that's not super basic. It's never like book free call. It's never this. Like one of ours is like book your 90-day roadmap advisory call. Like that is not book a free consult, because that's boring, right? We want to sound like what they're about to do, what action they're about to take is new, is novel, is not something they've heard before. They believe it's going to help them. And this not only gets them to take the next action, but also helps increase the show up rate for that stuff as well. So moving on, after we tell them exactly what we're going to do, we're going to present a little bit of scarcity here. And the reason we're going to do this is because they believe we can help, they've watched this whole video, they know what to do next, and now we need to give them a little push to actually take that next step. And so what that looks like in this example is going to be, now these you could say calls, now this program, whatever it is, literally going to say calls here. Now these calls are extremely limited to the time and effort that goes into training each person to the point they are confident swimming with feral sharks. And because of this, we only accept a select few each month to join our sexy name of your program. That sounds cool. Even if you qualify. Now that a big scarcity tactic, because we're saying even if you qualify, you still might not get to work with us because we're very selective of who we work with. And then we would just end it with, so don't wait and book your qualifying call today, if that's what makes sense in your marketing message. It really just comes down to your avatar and your business. But generally, if you're following this structure, there's a few things you can follow and kind of mess around with. This is a structure, it's not follow this exactly. So anyway, that is the entire copywriting structure that, like I said, has allowed us to book 100+ calls a week, appointments booked, following this exact funnel from running ads to pushing people to a landing page with the VSL on it, where they fill out their information on that landing page and then allows them to book a call. And then they, obviously it's back-end sales after that with, a setter, a customer service rep, a closer, that whole thing, email marketing, SMS campaigns, you name it. That's like the next step in this iteration, because after they book the call, people will get dopamine of like, yes, I booked a call. And they think that their solution is going to be solved. But then when it comes to actually showing up on that call, you'd be surprised how many people just don't show up after that, even though they've gone through our entire marketing funnel and they've acknowledged that this is a problem I have and I'm interested in solving it. So to solve that show up rate, yes, you have email reminders that provide value before the call, provide some more insights, build a little bit more curiosity. You have case studies, testimonials, all in the email. You have SMS campaigns going out, reminding people of when their call is, and you do the same thing with email, reminding people when their call is. And this is a big tip as well. Call your lead in under 5 minutes when they come in, like 5 minutes max. If you do that, I promise you're going to have better conversations. You're going to learn a lot faster. You have more opportunity to get them excited to show up on the call, or you're just going to get them while they're emotionally triggered because they just booked that appointment. They're emotionally triggered right now because they're obviously facing a problem. Who knows where they're at, and they're feeling this way, that they have this problem that they want solved. So what better time to call someone when they're emotionally triggered? People make decisions emotionally and back them up with logic. And so you want to get them in their emotional brain, not their logical brain. Their logical brain says, oh, I don't have the money to spend on this. Oh, I need to, think about it a little bit more, and stuff like that, like common sales objections. So all said and done, that is the copywriting structure that, again, works really well for all of the clients I currently work with. If you have any questions, leave a comment, go and DM me on Instagram. Those are gonna be the two places you can find me most. I hope you like this video. If you have any ideas of what topics you'd like me to cover next, again, just comment below. I'll read them and I'll try and do my best to cover them, as long as I feel like I'm the right person to talk about that subject. But other than that, like, subscribe, do all that jazz, or not. Dislike the video if you hate it. Ideally, don't do that. Just let me know. Constructive feedback, of course. I'm gonna leave this as I leave it in all of my videos, at least my vlogs, and that is, do not let the emotions of today rob you of your success tomorrow. Peace. All right, time to get some tacos.